Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Saturday morning, it's bright and early, daily discipline, mind, body, and soul. This is how we get through. If anybody out there wants coaching or mentoring, you can go to my website, skyazrael.com. Let's talk about relationships. Let's talk to the guys out there that have no friends. And I know what that's like. I know what it's like to have no friends. I've gone long periods of my life without really knowing anyone other than my immediate family members. And you know how it goes with them. You don't always get along with them. They're not always your buddies or your bros. They're just family. I've had to think about this topic a lot, about being alone. And I used to get lonely. And I don't anymore. And one of the reasons why I don't get lonely anymore is because of the self-work that I do, because of the Mind, Body, and Soul program. It's not that it just keeps me busy, which it does, but it provides me with a certain amount of energy. Not just energy to give me a little pep to get things done, but positive energy. Fills me with light and love, where I become like a love machine. I'm not searching for love from you or for others. But largely when we have friends, we're searching for love from them. We want to squeeze love from them. Please love me. Give me validation and acceptance. And I've learned to do that for myself, to be quite self-sufficient with that. So I don't need that from others. I like it from others, but I don't need it. It's not what keeps me alive. I've noticed some people that are so addicted to socializing that it actually is what keeps them going. And if they don't have a friend to call or to hang out with, they slip into a depression. They don't really handle things well on their own. They need that kind of daily support system. And I haven't really had it for much of my life as a kid or as an adult. So I've learned to provide this kind of thing for myself. And it's not just simply entertaining yourself, although that is something people need to learn how to do. Get hobbies, you need to learn how to do something other than just staring at the wall or staring at a computer screen. But there's an aspect of self-parenting that I do, that I've had to do. I grew up without a father, so I've had to learn to embrace my inner father. You guys talk about inner child in psychiatry, they talk about an inner child. But you also have an inner guide. That might be the voice of God, who knows what it is, wisdom. There was that book written years ago, Everything You Need to Know You Learned in Kindergarten. I think that was the name. There was this philosophy that you all have this kind of ancient wisdom inside of you already. You're born with it, and that life is in a process of learning. It's a process of releasing, of connecting with what's already there. It's kind of a different way of looking at things, and it might be hard for some to understand. But you may want to ask yourself some questions. If you're in a place of loneliness, if you're one of these types who has no friends, no real family, no girlfriend, nothing. What do they call them? There's a term for them that I heard on the internet. They're called chosen ones or something. It's a little weird. Not that they're alone in the world, but that they identify as this chosen one. I guess you have to latch on to something when you feel so alone and so down. Nothing in life is permanent. Life itself isn't permanent. We have seasons. You may have a season of solitude, and it may be important, it may be necessary. Don't waste it, don't blow it. If all you wish for is to be surrounded by people who are laughing and having a good time, and they're hedonistic escapes, and you want to be a part of the party, you may miss out on important aspect of growth, some growth that we need to do, some parts of our evolution into manhood needs to be done alone. You need to leave the village, go off into the woods or into the mountains, into nature, and when you return, you'll be a man. But that's a solitary journey, and it's not always fun. And there's some of the things that you need to conquer, the weaknesses you need to conquer in order to come back and be successful, or to find a mate, find a career, find your respect, your leadership, all these types of things, all the social interaction. You need to work out some things in your head, and you need to ask yourself some questions, like therapy, like, if you're all alone, ask yourself, why don't you want relationships? Why am I against having relationships? And the first knee-jerk reaction you're going to say is, I desperately want relationships. What are you talking about, Sky? It's possible, and you have to entertain all possibilities, that one of the reasons why you have nobody in your life is that you don't want anybody in your life. Now, you may have more than one side of you, and you may be fighting against it yourself in an internal battle. Good and evil, yin and yang, there's all kinds of dichotomies inside of us, dualities. And you need to work some of this stuff out. It's possible that you don't want a relationship, that you're lonely. Your loneliness is a form of self-sabotage. People do this with a lot of areas in their life. They may not want to be successful, and they say, on one hand, I want to be successful. I'm sick of being poor. I'm sick of being homeless. I'm sick of being hungry. I'm sick of being behind on bills, taking out loans, feeling emasculated, not being able to earn, not knowing how to find a job. I'm sick of all of that. I just wish I had some success in my life. And a lot of people feel that way, but then you get a lot of these same people that hate rich people, despise wealth, have all kinds of negative energy towards success that they put out daily in various areas. And how do you go to grab something when you kick it away from you? So ask yourself this: why don't I want relationships? Is there some reason why I'm not interested in relationships? And you may get an answer. One of the answers that you may get is, you may get a voice in your head that says, I don't want to be hurt anymore. The times in the past that I've had relationships, I've been hurt really bad. I'd rather have a broken arm than a broken heart. I'd rather have a broken leg than betrayal. So if it's past injuries, past trauma, could that be healed? Some people fold their arms and shake their heads and say, no, they don't want to heal trauma. And if you try to help them, lead them towards a healing place, towards positivity, they'll snatch their arms away and go running back into the thickets, into the pricker bushes, into that dark forest of fear and pain and being lost. They would rather be there. So you may have to start addressing some of these weak spots within you, these past injuries, and heal some of this past trauma. Was there a relationship that really messed you up? Is there a way that you can get past it? You may have an unrealistic view of what relationships are, or of what love is, of what friendship is. And that may be keeping you from having successful relationships. You may try to have relationships, try to have friendships, try to socialize, try to have girlfriends or whatever, and have love relationships, and it always falls apart. You always end up back in the same place, completely alone and rejected and lonely. And some of that, I mean, we're just entertaining possibilities, because you have to do a little form of self-therapy and get to the bottom of some of this stuff and kind of do some investigation. Is it possible that you have an unrealistic view of love and of friendship, of relationships, that maybe you have high expectations that no one can meet. Maybe you somehow think that people are supposed to provide you with a certain level of entertainment or a certain amount of their energy, and when they don't give you their energy to the extent or the ability that you want it, you think they're jerks, you think they're dicks, maybe you think they're hurting you. We have to look at these parts of ourselves before we can start blaming the world. It's a hard world, it's a cold world, and people do suck. Absolutely. But not everybody sucks. And you don't need a giant circle of friends. All you need is a few good people on your team. But we have to entertain different reasons of why relationships aren't working out. And we asked ourselves this question: why don't I want relationships? Maybe it's because you're not self-conscious enough. Some people aren't. Some people are too self-conscious, and that ruins it. Stop thinking about yourself so much. That's something that I've had to tell myself. But then there's other people that don't think about themselves at all, ever. And they step on people's toes, they cut people off, they interrupt people, they're jerks, they're rude, they're mean. And you may have some of these qualities. It's worth looking within. One way to look at how to meet people, we'll end it here because we could talk about this for an hour, is to start exploring some of your interests. Start to think about, what are you interested in? Make a list. What are your hobbies? List all your interests. Everything. You like fashion? You like motorcycles? You like technology? You like computers? What do you like? You like spirituality? You like punching people? There you go. Go join an MMA class. I mean, there's all kinds of things. So you want to explore some of these things and become willing to just go to a meeting, go to a class, go to a function or an event. And if it sucks, it sucks. And you can drive home and say, hey, I tried. You got to play to win. Food for thought.